few years ago, several meteors crashed into the Australian wasteland. Initially, the impact caused minimal damage, but soon, people began falling ill and turning on each other violently. It was discovered that the meteors had brought with them a highly contagious virus that transforms humans into zombie-like creatures. This virus is particularly dangerous because it spreads through the air, making it almost impossible to avoid. No human is immune to the virus, but those with blood type A have a slight advantage. They can only be infected through a zombie's bite and not through airborne transmission. At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to a girl named Brooke, who has recently turned into a zombie. In her zombie state, she tries to attack her own people, but her brother Barry intervenes just in time. Barry administers a vial of human blood to Brooke, which miraculously turns her back to normal, at least temporarily. It is then revealed that Brooke is a hybrid zombie. When she was first infected, she couldn't complete the full transformation. As a result, she can suppress her zombie urges most of the time, but when they become uncontrollable, she needs to take human blood from the vial to revert to her normal state. Brooke's hybrid nature also grants her special abilities, such as the power to control fully transformed zombies with her mind. Barry, on the other hand, has a negative blood and has managed to avoid being bitten, making him one of the few surviving humans in the wasteland. His unique blood type provides some protection against the virus, but he remains vigilant to avoid infection. In another part of the wasteland lives a former soldier named Reese. Unlike many others, Reese has managed to make the best of the dire situation. He lives in a fortified bunker that runs on zombie blood. The zombies emit a gas from their breath that is extremely flammable, and this component is also found in their blood, making it a valuable source of fuel. Reese's daily routine is a testament to his survival skills. His day starts with a rigorous exercise regimen and the consumption of a strange yellow pill that seems to enhance his physical capabilities. After his morning routine, Reese heads out on a zombie hunt. The wasteland is teeming with the creatures, making it easy to capture a few. Reese has devised ingenious ways to use the captured zombies as components of his mechanical devices. By bribing them with meat, he can get the zombies to move their hands and legs, which in turn powers his generators. This makeshift system provides Reese with the electricity he needs to maintain his bunker. Additionally, Reese practices combat with the captured zombies to maintain his physical strength and combat readiness. One day, Reese spots a hybrid zombie riding a motorcycle near his fortified bunker. Acting quickly, he takes the man down and threatens him with a gun. Realizing the man is a hybrid, Reese knocks him out and abducts him. He then transports the unconscious hybrid to a secret government lab, the last bastion of hope for finding a cure to the virus. The lab is run by a researcher known as the Spider, who conducts various experiments on hybrids in hopes of discovering a cure. The facility is heavily guarded by soldiers to protect it from enemies and prevent any breaches. Reese regularly brings hybrids to the lab to assist the doctors, motivated by his desire to restore normalcy to the world. In exchange for his efforts, he is given the yellow pills that provide temporary immunity to the virus, the very reason he hasn't been infected yet. On this particular day, Reese is handed a new mission, a photograph of two hybrid sisters, Maxie and Grace, who are his next targets. Believing he is contributing to a greater cause by capturing hybrids for research, Reese diligently sets out to locate them. Meanwhile, the hybrid sisters, Maxie and Grace, are driving toward a secret hideout. Suddenly, Grace's zombie instincts begin to take over, making her aggressive and uncontrollable. Despite her efforts to restrain herself, she fails. Just in time, Maxie intervenes and helps her sister by feeding her a vial of blood, calming her down. Unbeknownst to them, Reese is hiding in a nearby field, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As the sisters approach, Reese launches his attack, flipping their vehicle. Grace, less injured than her sister, emerges from the wreckage and confronts Reese. They engage in a fierce battle, but Reese, with his military training and combat skills, ultimately overpowers Grace. Focusing solely on his mission, Reese doesn't bother to check the vehicle for the second sister, Maxie, and drives away with Grace, leaving Maxie behind. Maxie, still in the overturned vehicle, watches helplessly as her sister is taken. Determined to save Grace and put an end to the capture of hybrids, Maxie plans her next move, setting the stage for a confrontation with Reese and the government lab that holds the key to humanity's future. Later, Maxie comes out looking for Grace, only to discover she's been kidnapped. Reese is driving Grace to the lab when she suddenly awakens as a zombie, increasing her strength and intensifying her attacks. She traps Reese, but he convinces her to drink blood, which returns her to normal. In the lab, A spider uses a hybrid zombie to create a temporary cure for the transformation process. He injects the medicine into himself, but is caught by the colonel and a soldier. They point their guns at him for misusing government resources, but the colonel kills the soldier before the spider is killed. It turns out that both the spider and the colonel were bitten by zombies in the past. They have been using the hybrid's blood to make medicine that slows their transformation and keeps them alive. They deceive everyone by capturing hybrids not for a cure but for their own benefit. As long as they capture more hybrids and take the antidote daily, they won't turn into zombies. The spider is also conducting a secret experiment. Later, Reese arrives at the lab and hands Grace over to the colonel before returning home. On the way, his car breaks down, and he has to use zombie blood to restart it. Maxie, hiding nearby, watches him. When he is distracted, she jumps onto the back of his car and tags along. Upon reaching home, Reese distracts the zombies with bright lights and enters the bunker. That night, the lights suddenly go out. Reese cautiously goes outside to restart the generator, only to come face to face with Maxie. She knocks him out before he can react. When he wakes up the next morning, she threatens him to reveal where her sister is. With no other option, he agrees to take her to the lab. On their way there, Maxie finds a picture of herself and Grace and asks Reese what he does for a living. Reese vaguely tells Maxie that he was ordered to bring them to the lab. He distracts her with conversation and seizes her weapon. In the end, Maxie is tied to the seat and taken to the colonel, where soldiers forcefully take her in. The colonel and Reese get into a slight argument when the colonel mocks Reese's late brother, who was also a soldier. The argument escalates into a fight, and Reese shoots the colonel and his soldiers. He escapes but doesn't forget to take Maxie with him. They are pursued by the injured colonel and soldiers, who use their weapons to bring Reese down. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself hanging from a tree. The colonel taunts him about his brother's death, who was burned alive by the enemy. The person who killed him was Barry, the guy we saw at the beginning of the movie. Following that, Reese is left to the zombies. He tries his best to hold himself up on the tree, but it doesn't work for long. A zombie is seconds away from biting him when they suddenly freeze. A confused Reese looks ahead to see Brooke and her team in front of him. It is revealed that Maxie is also Brooke's friend. She brought them to save Reese since he saved her life earlier. They take him hostage again and demand to know where Grace is. Reese refuses to say anything and recognizes Barry as the man who killed his brother. Brooke and the zombies attack Reese, leaving him no choice but to cooperate. He tells them everything he knows about the colonel and the spider. He believes they are working on a cure, unaware that nothing of the sort is happening in the labs. A few hours later, the group breaks into the lab and finds decomposing zombie bodies. It becomes clear that the doctors are performing experiments on the zombies, but they cannot let them kill Grace. They also see yellow pills being made from the remains of the dead bodies. Inside a tank, Barry finds the corpse of the hybrid that Reese had brought to the lab. A lab worker reveals that all the hybrids are killed as part of the experiment. Their blood is used to make an anti-transformation serum for the colonel, while the remains are used to make the yellow pills. Reese is shocked because he was told the hybrids were not being harmed. Realizing he was being used, he kills the worker in a fit of rage. After learning the truth, Brooke controls a horde of zombies and sends them into the lab to kill everyone. With the guards dead, Maxie enters a capsule and is dropped into the bunker. She navigates through a vent to find her sister while the others storm in through the front door to keep the colonel distracted. They kill everyone in their path as they make their way to the control room where the colonel and the spider are. Brooke eventually reaches the main room and finds the spider, who introduces his latest creation, the most dangerous cyborg zombie. Brooke sends her army of zombies toward the cyborg, but he is too strong for them. The spider, using his arms to control the zombie, makes the cyborg even more dangerous. The real zombies are brutally killed by the cyborg, leaving only Brooke alive. In the end, the cyborg attacks her, throwing her against the wall. Brooke, unable to fight the powerful cyborg, can only hope for a miracle. Just as the cyborg is seconds away from killing her, his hand stops working. This is because Grace, tied up in a corner, is controlling the spider's hand, preventing it from moving. The mind control technique works because the spider is also half zombie, delaying his transformation with the hybrids. With Grace's help, Brooke gains the upper hand and attacks the cyborg, while the spider struggles with Grace's control. However, the cyborg soon recovers and resumes fighting, stronger than before. Brooke is again in danger, but this time, she electrocutes the cyborg, defeating him before he can launch another attack. Outside, Barry and Reese are battling the colonel, who has the upper hand due to his gun. He's seconds away from killing them when Maxie arrives, weapon in hand, and shoots him dead, saving Barry and Reese. However, the situation worsens when Brooke begins transforming into a zombie and urgently needs a vial of blood, which no one has. As chaos ensues, Brooke attacks Maxie, forcing her to hide inside a cage. Eventually, Maxie finds a pouch of blood and gives it to Brooke, calming her down. Regaining her senses, Brooke realizes she has bitten her brother. Meanwhile, the spider captures Grace and flies out through the capsule, setting the lab to auto-destruct. The group has only 30 seconds before the lab explodes. Barry and Brooke decide to use their blood as fuel to send Reese and Maxie outside via the capsule, sacrificing their own lives. The plan succeeds, and Reese and Maxie escape just before the lab explodes, killing Barry and Brooke. Outside, the spider is drawing Grace's blood for his antidote, when an ally soldier discovers that the spider is also a zombie. Without the colonel to command him, the soldier attacks the spider, who kills him in annoyance. When Reese and Maxie reach the hideout, Maxie finds her sister unconscious in bed. Reese confronts and fights the spider, but the spider's hybrid blood gives him the advantage. He's about to kill Reese when Grace awakens and stabs the spider to death, then brutally tears his stomach open. In the final scene, Maxie gives Reese a yellow pill to prevent his transformation and asks him to join their team. The movie ends with a twist as Brooke and Barry emerge from the lab's remains unharmed. Subscribe for more videos, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.